Right, so I'm in the sign business. I do a lot of demolition, and mostly I do wall repair for sign companies. So I don't do that much drilling, but I do enough that I don't hammer drill holes all day long. I wouldn't want to do that. It's funny. Some of the sign guys were on a job, and I had my hammer drill and I had my Harbor Freight hammer drill in the truck, and they're like, "Oh, I don't know if that's their drill broke." And he used it and he goes, God, I didn't think it would work that good. and apparently, he was like surprised. But, I don't always buy Harbor Freight. I like to buy better stuff. Um, and I was out of town working on a job, and I actually uh, was working on some signs, and we needed some tools, and I didn't want to bring my tools with me on the airplane because and I thought, well, because if the lithium battery and all that might not have gotten across, and I thought, to replace the batteries on those tools is really expensive. So I thought, well, we'll take a chance when we get there. We're going to buy some Harbor Freight ones and try them. And so this is like kind of when this Bauer thing just first came out. So I was just like, okay, well, skeptical. Bottom had no clue whether they were going to work at all. And you know what? They had plenty of power. The disadvantages probably were the batteries didn't last that long, but that didn't matter to me at all. So if that's an issue, it might be something to consider. But anyway, I so when I was there, this is a different drill. I have two of these, and I started buying more of them because number one, they worked okay, and number two, I wanted everything on the same battery. So when I got home, they made it back on the airplane. So these are the same ones that I bought. It was actually 3 years ago, and and this one I bought 3 years ago, and I actually got upset one day when we were working. It was 100 and something outside. It was kind of get hot headed when it's hot like that, right? Anybody ever been there? And I ended up throwing this and picked it up, and it still worked. And I threw it pretty hard too. And the only thing that's happened to it is the trigger sticks a little bit. And other than that, it works just fine. And the power is fine and everything. It has plenty of power. There's probably other tools out there that are a little bit more powerful. I heard the Hercules has more power. But I'm not using this to put on lug nuts. I think that's kind of ridiculous. If I had put on lug nuts, I'm going to use my Earthquake, which I bought one of those at the same time. And the Earthquake actually is probably the best quality what's it called? Half-inch Earthquake is probably the best quality one you can probably buy, and the most pound of power, because I use it to specifically break bolts, and it breaks a half-inch bolt in about 20 seconds. So half-inch bimetal steel bolt, not just the kind. We tried bending them over back and forth, and we couldn't do it. So we tried bending them. We had to bend them like 15 times to make them break off. And the Earthquake, you just hit it for about 20 seconds, breaks it off. So that's what we got that tool for, and we use it around the shop now. And I ended up buying another one when I got home because I was so impressed with it. So one of the things to find on these Bauer tools is this battery here, the 20 volt, the larger battery. I guess it's 3 amp hour. Some of the other higher quality tools come with a larger amp hour battery, and that's actually might be better for some things. But in most cases, this is fine. Especially for homeowner. If you're looking to just buy one of these for that, or like I was out of town, you're trying to do a job, or you can get away with having these tools on a job site. One of the disadvantages of the other brands is every time, when I've been on, I've had my trailer on a job site once a long time ago, and I remember it got broken into when I was out, and they stole every one of my brand name tools, except they didn't steal anything that was Harbor Freight. So that's when I was kind of like, well, maybe sometimes it'll be a good idea to buy the Harbor Freight one, because if I don't use it too much, then it would break. It would get stolen before I break it or whatever. But then when these came out, I was actually pretty impressed with these tools. So some of us, tools are almost like drugs, right? You keep buying them more and more. And so I bought this set. I got this. Is their reciprocating saw, and then and there was a deal. If you have this Harbor Freight coupon, you can buy the reciprocating saw. You can buy the circular saw, and it comes with another impact. So I got a new one of these. I wanted a second one, so I got a new one of these, and I actually have almost completely worn this out. The bearings are just, I can just feel a little wiggle going on in there. It'll probably still run like that for a long time. You can see the little bit of wiggle in there. So it'll probably run like that for longer than I would ever think. But I decided to buy a new one, and that comes with it. So there's 4 tools, and then it also comes with one additional battery just by itself. It's not the big battery, but the small one. So, you know, they don't last as long, but these are the ones to buy. So if you're going to buy this set, they come with these batteries, except, you know, you have to watch the packages because this doesn't come with a battery. But most of the tools come with the small battery, and they have these batteries available. These are only $20 to replace, and the charger is only $20. So that's a high benefit, where if you buy a really good quality one and the charger goes out, you're pretty much done. You're gonna have to go out and buy a whole new tool, because it'll probably cost you more for the charger than it does for the new tool, or it'll probably cost you more than this whole set to just buy the charger alone, or the battery, which is usually the first thing to go. I have not burned out one of these batteries yet, which is pretty surprising. I've had these, some of these I've had 2 years. I've had this 2 years. Some of the other ones, the smaller ones, I've had 3 years, and yet to break one yet. So I think we did have one that went out. I can't remember, but it was $20, so it didn't really affect me at all. So maybe I didn't remember. Well, the convenient thing is they do have a lot of different tools now in the same line. First, when they first started, they only had a few. They only had, I think, this impact, screw gun, I think the grinder, and now they have a lot more things coming out with the same battery, so it's kind of convenient to have a lot of these particular tools. And again, like I said, I haven't had the major issues with them. Again, they are a lot cheaper than the bigger brands. So you might say to yourself, maybe I'll just get a bigger brand. In fact, one of the guys who works for me, he says, "Hey, I wouldn't buy that junk, you know, whatever," but he doesn't have to pay for it. So I guess it's a little different, isn't it? You know, when I'm buying stuff all the time, and then stuff gets stolen, you know, I have that in my calculations of what I'm going to purchase, you know, as well. So we did happen to buy one of these drills, and I was one of the ones that he bought on a job. When we were doing the same job, I have not had any problems with mine, but apparently he bought one. I think maybe that's one of the reasons, and it worked for about an hour or so, and something happened. I think the chuck got stuck or something. I couldn't get it loose again, or it was stuck. It was locked up. The transmission broke, and but other than that, you know, of course, that got returned to Harbor Freight with no issues. They just immediately, their return policy is very good, so took it in, got another one. Haven't had any problems since. I'm not sure why he had that problem, but anyway. So I'm not going to say that they're better than the, you know, big brands. Probably not. You know, I'm sure that they're comparable in some respects. And in my opinion, I haven't had, like I said, very many problems with them. And I would definitely recommend them to people, and I would buy them myself because they are cheaper, number one, and they do work well, and they don't have too many problems. So with that, I'll talk to you in the next video. Please like, share, and subscribe.